Good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to Football Connect on The Nation TV. And I am your host, David Bolarinwa. And you know how we do it. I'm not here alone. I'm here with our in-house analyst and my dear friend, Adedamola Ogunbewon. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, David.
All right. It's a very huge day and a very huge midweek we have in our hands. The Champions League is back, guys. The Champions League is back. And, you know, it's the game for the big boys. It's not games for, you know, mere teams. And we have big clashes for this midweek. Tomorrow, we have Arsenal versus Real Madrid at the Emirates Stadium. You're an Arsenal fan, so we will not be starting with that. Let's go to the other game, man. Let's go to the other game where we have Inter facing Bayern Munich. No, it's Bayern Munich versus Inter for the first leg. And that game is massive. Let's have your thoughts on it first.
I think, you know, it's a big game. If you consider what Bayern Munich have done in the UEFA Champions League in the last decade, compared to Inter Milan also, who has like they've rejuvenated themselves in this area. They've won like 2 of the last 5. So it's definitely going to be a very, very tough game, considering the big names in the teams and how important the game is in general. Because if you lose, that's the thing about Champions League. If you lose, you go home. Yeah, that's it. There's no other opportunity to win it anymore. So,
you know something. You mentioned something about big names, and it's quite shocking for Bayern Munich, who will be playing at home in front of their fans, to hear that Yamal Musiala will be missed. He sustained an hamstring injury in the previous game, and it's quite painful to hear. Musiala is one of those wonder kids that we are looking at, those prospects we are looking at, and you know, he comes. And the funny thing, or the most annoying thing, was that it was just after he scored. Just after he scored, he got injured. How do you think his absence will affect the Bayern Munich game?
I think it will definitely affect them, considering his importance in the midfield. As you said, he is one of those talents that we've seen in the last 5 years that is like, he has just gone straight to the top. When you consider him with the big names like Pedri, Bellingham, so he's in the same class with those players, and he's very, very important. He's probably Bayern Munich's most important player after Harry Kane. Yeah. So they will definitely miss him. His creativity, his dribbling, his ability to attack the defense of the opponent. You know, without him in that team, I don't know how else they'll play.
But do you see Kimmich or Olise? You know, they can't feel the shoes. Yes, they can't feel the shoes. But do you see Kimmich or Olise, you know, just doing it? In the last game, Olise came on and he scored a beautiful, wonderful free kick for in the I think in the UEFA Nations League. He scored this beautiful free kick. And do you see him, you know, feeling that shoes? Not quite, but I mean,
it's definitely possible. It seems like Bayern Munich, you expect them to, one way or the other, feeling, you know, for what they'll be missing in Musiala. But I still think that the drop off from Musiala to who they'll be replacing him with is so wide that, you know, they will still struggle. But I expect them not to like use this injury as an excuse.
Because Musiala is. You know, so let's take you through a possible starting 11. What we are able to give you might not be the eventual starting 11, but just a predicted starting 11 due to how they've been playing for the past weeks. For Bayern Munich, you have Obig in goal, you have Laima, you have Kim, you have Dyer, and you have Guillermo. You have Paulinho in the midfield, you have Kimmich, you have Olise, you have Müller, you have Leroy Sané, and you have Harry Kane. That's for Bayern Munich. And for Inter Milan, the possible starting 11 is going to be Sommer in goal, you have Asabi, you have Bisek, you have Bastoni, you have Deman, you have Chananogu, you have Fratesi, you have Mkhitaryan, you have Dimarco. I mean, Dimarco is one of their top guys this season, and he has been doing well for them. You have Marcos Thuram also, the Thunderbolts goal he scored a few weeks ago, and you have the Argentine Martinez. And I know this Inter Milan team do not quite present to be a world-class kind of, because many of their players are probably on the middle class. The only person, the World Cup winner, which is Martinez, and you have the likes of Dimarco, who is trying to, you know, just, and then you have just a few names, not many of them are Bastoni. Those guys, they are not really on the top radar, but Inter Milan in the last few years in the Champions League, they've proven to be a team to be contending.
Yeah. I think you've made a very good point. One of the things with Inter Milan is their ability to work together. I think the tactical strength of the Italian football is one of the things that is their advantages. They play very, very high-paced football. They can defend very well, and their team is not about the stars that they have, but it's more like a collective thing. Though Martinez in the last few years has been in the top 10 footballers in the world, so it's still a big name still.
If you remember the game against Barcelona and how they controlled the game, Barcelona wants to keep the ball. They are there to catch the ball from you, and defend, and they understand how to run this one touch passes, and they can catch you on a counter regardless. So look at this game. We have Bayern who wants to keep the ball. Vincent Kompany trying to add on the Pep Guardiola style. Also look at how he can control a 1-0 game. They want to control the ball, have the ball. Look at Inter Milan. All they want to do is just win and leave the pitch. How do you think the game is going to be?
I think that will make it. That's what will make it very interesting, considering how polarized the two teams are in terms of playing style. As I said, Bayern Munich loves more possession-based football. Move the ball around, pass. From Kompany, we saw how he played it in Burnley last season in the Premier League. And Inter Milan is just about winning. They are very pragmatic in the sense that it's about what's our opponent going to play and how are we going to respond in the best possible way so that we would win the game. I think from the lineups that you mentioned, I'll probably say Inter will probably edge them, but it will definitely be a close game because Bayern Munich are not a small team either. Yeah, they also have very big names: Harry Kane, Thomas Muller,
Leroy
Sané, Olise. They've moved Olise to the midfield.
For now.
So we'll see how that works.
All right. So what will be your prediction for them?
I'll probably say one of the two legs will be a draw, because Inter Milan has perfected the art of drawing games, and they'll probably win one of the legs. So Inter Milan should go through, in my opinion, but I could be wrong.
Well, I think Bayern has beaten Inter before.
Yes.
Bayern has beaten Inter before. Do you see this, history repeating itself?
Not necessarily. Every year presents a new opportunity.
But they always say you're as good as your last game. Yeah?
True.
So you are facing the same opponent who you've beaten before. Sometimes football might not work according to history.
Yeah.
Right. But do you see this affecting one way or the other?
And because of the nature of the Champions League this year, if everything feels new, like from the league phase to how the round of 16 are, to the teams that are present, it's still the same team kind of, but the competition just feels like an all new competition, like completely different from what has been going on in the past. So Inter will probably count on the fact that they played well in the league phase. They also played well in the round of 16, and they will be looking to challenge Bayern Munich. I don't expect any of the sides to respect the other because they've known each other for a very long time. So should be a very, very interesting clash.
All right, coming off a strange defeat, coming off a defeat where Carlo Ancelotti said it was strange, and I blame the laxity of my defenders. Real Madrid touched down England, and they are going to face Arsenal at the dreaded Emirates Stadium. And there's a thing with La Liga teams always dominating England teams, but let's look at this critically. This is a new Arsenal. This is a new Real Madrid.
True.
Yes, they have 15 Champions League. They are the biggest in the history of Champions League. But they are coming off a defeat. You are coming off. The Arsenal team is coming off a draw. Just give a brief intro to that game.
The first thing I would say, as an Arsenal fan, This will probably be one of the few times that I'll criticize the club, but I think this year we've been a bit, in terms of how we've played in the league, we've been a bit not as good
relaxed.
We've not been as good as people would probably expect us to be. Coming off last season, challenging Man City till the last day of the season, we expect that
push up
the next season, especially in a season where Man City falters and they are 5th, 6th. You expect that the people who were like challenging them last season will probably be the ones in the driver's seat, but it's not so. Liverpool are 9 points clear of the league, and every time that Arsenal has had an opportunity to put pressure on Liverpool, they failed. Either they draw or they lose the game, and so it has not looked good. Even this weekend, where if we had won, the gap between us and Liverpool would have been closer because they lost on Sunday, but we didn't. We drew. So Champions League is probably a completely different competition, and we'll probably play better. But Real Madrid is a tough competition, and we'll try our best, but it's not going to be an easy game.
All right, so we spoke about history the last time. The last time Real Madrid faced Arsenal, it ended in a 1-0 victory for Real Madrid. Do you see anything at all?
I listened to the coach speak earlier today, and he was mentioning that's Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
He was mentioning that the history that we've never lost to them probably gives them inspiration. He spoke about it as something that they can look at and say, this is possible that we can, because we've done it before. Maybe we can do it again. But it's still Real Madrid. I think the history, like having that over your head, should probably push you on to be like, we don't want this to be the first time that we lost to them. And in 2006, when we beat them, we later ended up in the final.
Yeah,
even though we lost
1-0. Yeah.
So maybe if we beat them this year.
So it's not a goal scoring affair.
Yeah.
If you look at it, most of the matches have always ended in a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 win for either sides. Do you see anything changing? Yes, Saka is back. Odegaard is playing well. Do you see anything? But this current Real Madrid, yes, they don't score a lot of goals, but they know how to score. So, are you seeing a multiple amount of goals, or you are?
I think if there's multiple amount of goals, because I saw the Real Madrid game in the weekend, I think they are also capable of conceding chances.
Yes, they concede. They concede a lot.
Their defense isn't really that good. So I think if it's chaotic, if it's like you eat us, we eat you, there could be a lot of goals, but I don't think the gap will probably be like 5-0.
Yeah, I feel.
I think it will be much.
So
less.
both teams now, to be honest, both teams are high conceding teams.
Not really.
Yes, both
Arsenal
teams.
is one of the best defenses in Europe.
But you concede.
We do, but
you concede even more.
No.
In this season, how many goals have you conceded?
It's not about the amount of goals.
How many goals have you conceded this season?
We considered the least amount of goals in the Premier League.
How many have you scored?
Goal scoring is probably our
how many have you conceded? How many have you scored?
Like, the point I'm trying to make is that when it comes to defense, we are probably a better defense than attack. So we know our defense is, when you look at the lineup, it's like, this is what we build our team on. And Arteta too has spoken about it, that we've bought a lot of players in defense. Even our defensive midfielders, we spent a lot of money on Declan Rice, Thomas Partey. So the team's foundation when it comes to defense is very strong. But in terms of scoring goals, like that's where the main problem is. We've not scored as much as you would probably expect us to score for a team that is like top 2, top 3 in the Premier League. So we failed there. And I think that's probably what's going to be our biggest problem when we face Real Madrid. Is if we get the chances, are we going to score them?
Who is going to convert those chances?
Are we going to convert them?
Real Madrid are a team who obviously, in most of their games this season, they've found it hard to keep a clean sheet. Most of their games they've conceded, and I mean, if Arsenal will be facing them, you have to be clinical in front of goal.
Yes.
that one chance that you miss
You have to.
will haunt you in the last 10 minutes of the game because they are ready to stretch the game.
And
Madrid will
they are not
stretch the
an
game.
easy team to play either. When you look at their attack, that's it's just like the Inter Bayern game. This one is also polarizing in the sense that our best positions is our defense. Theirs is in their attack. When you look at Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo,
Bellingham.
Bellingham behind them. So that's like star-studded first front four. Our defense is strong, but we lost Gabriel in the game last midweek. So
the hamstring too.
That's like 50% of our defense gone. Because he and Saliba have a very, very
good connection. Yeah.
And I don't think we can replace his defensive
prowess.
skill, his defensive prowess with Kiwi or anybody that comes in his space. But I still think that based on what I've seen from us now, what I've seen from Arteta, there's that tendency to be very, very defensive. And being defensive is something that we can do. So I'll probably say if we are able to get a point or if we are able to get a win at the Emirates, let's say 2-1 or whatever the score is.
We are pushing us now to score 2 goals.
It's possible. I'm predicting.
Without the striker.
Let's say if the first leg ends 2-1, I don't really think that Real Madrid could score because like we are a team that tends to be.
Alright, so you are pitching your prediction for Emirates.
That's not my prediction. I was just.
Alright, so what's your prediction for Emirates game?
I have 2. One is realistic. One is my delusional prediction as an Arsenal fan. Overall, I think Real Madrid just have a bit more when it comes to what they've done in the Champions League. We've seen them do it against Man City, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, whatever the team is. They've been able to defeat them in the past. So I think having that behind them, having that we've done it before against the big teams, will probably push them to win the game. As you said, anything could happen. So the real prediction will probably be that in the series, Real Madrid would qualify over Arsenal. But as a fan, I would say if we can get a good result at the Emirates on Tuesday.
Going to the Bernabeu is going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but I don't think it's impossible to have a good result there too. So the first leg is very important. It's how you start that you finish. If we lose at the Emirates, then the quarterfinal is over because how are you going to overcome them at their own home? So get a good result first leg, then whatever happens in second leg.
Alright, so do you think your team is prepared for penalties, even if it indeed goes into penalties at the second leg in Bernabeu?
I've seen Raya try to save penalties, so I'll say no.
Because I feel you saw in the last game where Raya tried saving a penalty and he even moved before the player kicked the ball.
Exactly.
So he's not good at penalties.
If they don't miss, he's not picking anyone. Like if they don't miss the ball.
Yes, Raya is not picking. So we agree that your keeper is out on it when it comes to penalties. Your players. I know Declan Rice has a prowess with penalty. I know Saka will do 1 or 2 things.
Let me just say we hope that it doesn't go to penalties. Because if it does,
Real Madrid has a strong
edge.
Alright, so just a brief look at Wednesday's game. We have Barcelona versus Dortmund. That game, I don't know. I'm a Barca fan, and I don't want to talk out of my emotions, but Barca faced Dortmund in the group stage and won. And due to all reasonable sources, they are pitching Barcelona to win again.
I think Barcelona might even go to the final. If we are being honest, in terms of like how they've played this season. Good players, great season. So if all remains the same, Barcelona can expect that they'll be in the Champions League final this year.
So what are you giving that game?
Dortmund's defense is not good, so Barcelona to win, I think over the 2 legs, Barca could easily score 6 goals. So,
let's say 3-1,
very
3-2.
very easily.
All right. So yes, Barcelona came off a deserving draw, as it may, a deserving draw. I mean, against Real Betis, and I don't know. Do you feel the draw will affect Barca?
I don't think so. If you look at Real Madrid this season, especially in the league, that's where they've been at their worst. They've done better in cup competitions.
Yeah.
They've also had the same problem that we have had this season. That when you have the opportunity to put pressure on Barcelona, you've not done that.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they will suddenly in the in the end of the season find that mojo. So,
all right. The second game for Wednesday is Aston Villa PSG. Yes, Aston Villa PSG.
Interesting game. Aston Villa they probably don't expect when they started the season that they'll get this far. But PSG just defeated Liverpool.
Yes, and they've been doing their thing in the Champions League. Dembele bouncing on goals after goals, and is it an easy win for PSG? Is it going to be an easy win? Just a right?
I expect it to be fairly easy, but Aston Villa can.
They are coming to England.
Bring surprises. So.
For the first, they'll be facing them at Aston Villa's home. Do you think they can defeat Aston Villa at home?
I think so.
Right. So
I've seen them in the Premier League, and they are not.
They've not been spectacular this season in the Premier League. They've not been spectacular. They've conceded some ridiculous kind of goals and some mistakes where you would never expect Martinez to commit at that top class that we've placed him, a World Cup winner and all of these things. But it's one of those things. Football doesn't have a script. It's what is decided on the pitch, and that's where we'll be drawing the curtain for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you've taken 1 or 2 things. Follow Sporting Life NG on X. There's a current giveaway against the game between Arsenal and Real Madrid tomorrow. Follow the game, follow the giveaway, and you have a chance of winning. I mean, we'll be crediting
airtime.
So I think
our producer will be sponsoring it.
Our Real Madrid fan producer will be sponsoring it. So if you are a Real Madrid fan, support our producer Alineko if Real Madrid will win.
Yeah.
If Real Madrid will win, because I'm not seeing them winning. I'm supporting Arsenal.
Let's see.
I want to support Arsenal.
No problem.
All right, now I hope you support Barca too against Dortmund.
No problem.
Okay. So I remain David Bolarinwa.
And I remain Adedamola.
All right, till we see you again. Enjoy the Champions League.